I'm not going to have it up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me again this week for AppScan Tuesdays. Uh, well, working from home, a lot of the things changed. I have this setup behind me now with the that was supposed to be actually for one of the events that we didn't end up joining. And I have a new mesh network at home, and I hope the Wi-Fi will be better as it works. As with last time, you can see here the clock ticking down. We have 15 minutes for this show today, and with me today I have Julie. Hello, Julie. Nice to
Hi,
have you.
Ethan.
Julie works in my team. Julie is the product manager in charge of AppScan on Cloud. And today we will talk about AppScan on Cloud, how easy it is to start using it, and the great value that you can have with it. So, Julie, we have 14 minutes left because I already stole 1 minute. Let's start. Tell me a little bit about AppScan on Cloud.
Okay, sure, great. Thanks, Eitan. I'm sharing my screen here, and so this is when I would log into my organization and AppScan on Cloud. Um, I think one of the key things that is great and simple with AppScan on Cloud is I don't have to worry about deploying software. I don't have to worry about maintaining my software. I can literally be up and running within minutes and scanning after I have, signed on to AppScan on Cloud even for the first time. And as you see here, I have that view of all of my applications within my organization, and I call your attention to uh, right here on this one screen. I can very quickly see risk ratings. You'll notice that Alturo Bank, which I'm going to drill down a bit into, is showing that it's very critical. And that is not just reflective of the status of the testing. That is when I created the application, I was able to define what the business impact of that application was. So for when you're trying to prioritize your application testing, something that's exposed to the public internet, something that is mission critical for your business. These are all factors that will come into that risk rating, even beyond just the vulnerability. So you can help prioritize which applications you should attack first.
That sounds good, Julie. But sometimes some of our customers, I'm sure, will not have that many applications. How hard is it for them to start?
It's a piece of cake. I'm going to go into Alturo Bank. This is the baked bread coming out of the gourmet chef's oven. But once I've created that application, I can very quickly create a scan. And as you see here in ASOC, we offer both DAST, SAST, mobile analysis, as well as our newest technology that we added to our portfolio in AppScan on Cloud, interactive IaaS technology. I'm not going to drill down into each of these because I think those will be topics in future sessions. So by all means, stay tuned for additional Tuesdays.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you show here that it also includes the open source analysis when you do static analysis. So we cover
That's
all those.
correct. And then, just to, once I've done some scanning, which in this little demo app, I've done some static and dynamic analysis. You can see that I have a sense of the number of issues that have been found, the amount of scanning that's been done on this app. But I also have compliance, where I can choose to use an out-of-the-box policy that ASOC offers. Or in this case, I've defined my own policy to just target SQL injection and cross-site scripting. I can see the view of all my issues. And by default, it's going to show me the ones that are non-compliant so that I can focus on completing the compliance for this particular application. And here in this one, we've got about 103 issues. But if I go to look at it as issues by fixed group, that takes it down to 35 fixed groups. So it's a much easier way to begin to approach addressing those issues.
Okay, and last week, Florian and I, when we were talking about AppScan Source and V10, we were highlighting some of the capabilities around the fixed group that haven't arrived yet to AppScan Source, but will come in a later time.
I think the other thing, Eitan, that is interesting about AppScan on Cloud is we do have a fairly flexible licensing model, and we offer this service to customers that range from maybe a smaller company that has to do certain compliance testing several times a year, and so they may purchase scans from us, all the way to an enterprise who may be doing DevSecOps, and they would typically purchase via a concurrency model where they can run as many scans as they want on as many applications, and so they've really kind of bought capacity. And when we talk about, I'm showing you how I can do things from the web portal, but when you get into a large program, much more frequently, the testing is being done through automation and through our integration with pipeline tools or IDEs. And for example, we have integration with Jenkins from the build pipeline. We have Azure DevOps as well. You can use it in Visual Studio. So it's just all of the different marketplaces. We have a very broad integration with DevOps and with developer tools.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to mention that because, to be honest, AppScan isn't known for being friendly with developers. AppScan has a very good reputation on finding everything, on going to the deep and have a big depth and breadth. But here you're showing that we have actually out of the box a great deal of plugins, and I'm pretty sure that we are not showing all of them here. So.
You said I only had 14 minutes. I think the other point to be made is we've talked about how quick I can be up and running. And that means that, I can create a scan, put in login information, and within minutes I have kind of a point and click dynamic scan happening. But the engines and the intelligence and the technology that's under the covers of AppScan on Cloud are the exact same engines that make up our full portfolio. And so we can get a group started very quickly, getting some testing done, but we can also see it through to the full gamut of the complexities that may be needed in an enterprise deployment.
So basically, if I can use everything from the plugin or in the cloud, as a developer, where would I go? Is there any need for me to go to the cloud and do things manually?
No. If your administrator or your application manager has created an application representing what you're working on in the cloud, you can do everything right from within, if you're a developer, probably within your IDE, and if you happen to be a build engineer, you're probably going to be using Jenkins or Maven or Gradle.
Cool. We have here a question that's coming from one Noah Smith. Can you share future plans for CodeSweep? Actually next week I'm having on the call Matthew, and he will talk about, he's a lead developer in the CodeSweep area. He will share more information, and stay tuned because we are going to ship some new languages in the coming days. So hope that answers your question, Noah. Back to you, Julie.
Okay, yeah, and AppScan CodeSweep is one of our brand new plugins, and it's getting a lot of interest. So tune in next week for more info.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, it's, I guess no one knows, but it's a VS Code plugin for VS Code. It's our community edition that grow some traction. So hopefully we will hear more about it. Back to you, Julie.
Sure. So I think one of the other things we can touch upon are our reports that are available. And so within AppScan, you can generate security reports, which is the information you're going to want internally with your development teams or with your executives that talk about exactly the security posture of your applications currently. And those can be available in HTML and CSV, but we also offer out of the box a lot of the industry standard regulatory reports that you can get based on your application. So for both industry standards and regulatory. So application AppScan on cloud, it does truly give you the full portfolio of what you need to do.
That sounds really impressive. I wonder if there are any questions. I don't see any other questions from the crowd. So what else can we talk about in AppScan on Cloud? What is coming next, in your opinion? AppScan on Cloud, we know from customers it's hosted on Azure public cloud.
Correct.
It's available worldwide, but hosted from the US.
Yeah, and so we are currently in the planning stage and working towards adding additional data centers in the second half of this year. So we'll probably be looking at a European data center for AppScan on Cloud for our European customers. And some of the other things coming, we released a lot in Q1 to coincide with our AppScan 10 launch. And so we are going to be bringing out some additional improvements on the IaaS that we just introduced. Over the next couple quarters, we will be able to introduce some dynamic incremental scanning. And I'm sure you will go into detail with that with Billy probably in a session upcoming. But that will certainly be an innovative improvement to people that are using DaaS from the cloud.
So who do you see as your main audience? Who is going to use AppScan on Cloud versus whether AppScan on-prem or competitors or not at all?
I think, AppScan on Cloud provides that opportunity for an organization of any size that may still be struggling with truly getting into an AppSec program. Lord knows I remember when I led a development team and this stuff wasn't part of anything we did. But, you can get in here and you can start that testing so quickly and then evolve your program. So I think, AppScan on Cloud is a great solution for customers who want a full portfolio, right? I can get every single toolkit I have and throw it at an application, see that information in one place, and prioritize what I need to do to secure my application. But again, as I said before, it can scale all the way up to, a very large enterprise that has industry and compliance regulations that it needs to meet. And with some of our integrations and with additional APIs that can allow integration and workflow and automation to meet the needs of any company, I think you can run the gamut.
Cool. So we're saying something for the small startup with only a few developers up to the big enterprise customers that go all the way and need the auditability, governance, policies, and all the capabilities. That's great to hear. For those of you who are not, maybe be watching this later, please reach out to us with questions. We can always have another session or answer over the comments on how to do things with ASOC. Naturally, the 15 minutes is a short time, and we wanted to be respectful to the time that, very, very short lunch that you have at home in front of your computer. So let us know if you want to hear more about policies, if you want to hear about the subscription, how you use the plugins, and how basically any developer in your organization can view the results of the static scan that was ran last night in their IDE. And by that, leverage all the capabilities of, staying in their tools that they want without needing to learn how to use new technologies and new tools. So thank you very much, Julie, for joining me in this session. Next week, again, we will have Matt, and we will talk about AppScan Code Sweep. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.